Welcome back to Rolling Solo, and today we are going to be playing Masmorra Dungeons of Arcadia, the Alliance Edition. Alliance game. And this is one of the versions in the game. It comes with Alliance, it comes with Epic, and it comes with Standard. So we're playing two-player co-op, and I'm doing this solo with you guys. I want to give you an idea of how this plays when you're playing by yourself. What this Alliance game has in it that the other game does not is a specific deck for treasure cards, which are obviously there to help your teammates prevail, and an evil card deck, which is there to not help you prevail. And this guy right here, the pain in your backside, is the enemy at the very end of the game that we are trying to take out. So him, and along with all of his minions that he's summoning in the dungeon, who we have to take down. This white counter right here is going to count down each single turn that we have, all the way down to 21. If it hits 21, he has cast his evil spells and taken over the dungeon, and in essence, taken over Arcadia at the same time. So the heroes of this battle that'll be preventing him from doing so will be the wizard Algus, and he's starting with a 6 health level as per normal with a step token. And Luke, he's going to start at 6, not 2, because that would be bad, and he does not get a coin to start. But one of his abilities, actually, if he does have a coin, allows him to dock a dice and reroll, which is very, very handy. Algus, he can just dock a die and get extra magic, which is also handy as well. So we're going to go ahead and give Luke the starting player torch, and he's going to be the first one to enter into the dungeon. So at the very beginning of an Alliance game, one of the things that changes is, or some of the setup things really quickly, because I'm not going to spend too much time on that, is in these two decks right here. On the one on the left, in terms of the smaller decks, the one on the left right here with the portal that I flipped, on the 11th tile is the second level staircase tile, and in the second level deck, the 7th tile is the tile that leads to the 3rd level, and that's where we'll find Malaphyas, I believe his name is, if I'm even pronouncing it correctly. So we're going to take this guy down regardless. So let's begin a turn. So Luke is going to start this off, and we are going to pull our first evil card and see what we get. Sealing Rupture. The active hero must choose to take 2 wounds or lose their natural ability until the end of the turn. Well, that's no good. So Luke has had to deal with a little bit of a rupture in the ceiling, and I'm going to actually decide to use, because he doesn't have many special abilities, his natural ability, I think I can let that go for the first turn of the game, so I'm going to choose to just allow that to be his negative. So what we're going to do to start his turn is we're actually going to go ahead, we're going to flip his foot marker, which is his free movement. We're going to take Luke, which is in orange, and we are going to explore into unknown places. Now this tile here is a portal tile. So he has freely moved over to the portal tile. Now, a portal tile this early in the dungeon is not exactly the most useful because there's not really anywhere else really major you can teleport to. But it does come with an enemy, and we do also have to flip this tile in order to see what was going to be in the next room. Looks like the next room we explore is going to be a room. So for now, we're going to associate the skull icon with the skull icon, and this is going to be a monster on level 1 coming from the minor monster bag. And what are we going to get? Got ourselves some chick, and she's going to enter the dungeon. Now this chick is a Sister of Pleasure, and it says heroes cannot leave a room with any Sisters of Pleasure except by teleportation. So actually that worked out pretty good. Luke could potentially leave that room if he wants to, but you know what? He does want the XP, so he's going to go full bore, and we're going to try to roll our dice here and see if we can get something that can take her out. Now, we got ourselves a handful of attack dice. It's actually not that bad when I think about it. We might even be able to take her out in the first swing here. We've got enough, actually, in just the swords alone to do enough damage to take her down. So let's grab her dice here. She is a 1 and a 3, so we could kill her. She would pay back because we're using melee, so that would be kind of a pain. We do have another step token. We have some magic and a shield, so we could block something. We could also use magic to change this to a shield, which would be handy. What to do, what to do. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my 3 swords. So I'm going to dock these in the used portion of Luke's character playboard. And we are going to hit this Sister of Pleasure for 3. She's going to take all of the hits. And because we did melee, she gets an attack back at Luke, and she's going to hit him back for 1 damage. Now, she only does 1 damage. It really isn't that bad. I do have a shield. That's perfect, so I can dock that dice to avoid that damage. Now I have magic and a shoe. I could explore again if I wanted to. But just before I do that, what I'll do is I'll move Luke's experience up to 2. He took out a character, so he gets a treasure card. So he got himself Smack, which is 2 swords and 3 swords. And one thing I totally forgot to do was give each hero 2 of these cards. I'm really bad at that, actually. Done that a couple times in different plays. So now Luke has 3 cards here. So he's got Smack, he's got Chain Heal, and he's got Taunt, all of which are not bad, actually. I'm looking at them. And then Algus, he has Parry and Avert Evil, along with some other ones for ones he can play during his turn. So a little bit of mix of both. And we'll just throw this evil card away. I'm going to go ahead with Luke's last 2 dice. Or actually, I guess he killed him, sorry. So I guess he should be getting his XP. So I did that. So we covered that off. He got his card. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take these dice, we're going to fire it back in the bag where it belongs, and we're going to cash these 2 in for some coins for Luke. He wants to get some money so he can get some more of these treasure cards. That's the end of his turn, so we move the counter, or the round counter, to 1. That's the end. So now we take all of these dice, and they go back in the pile, and now his movement token goes back, and it's Algus' turn. Get rid of this. And we're going to start with this guy. So, to start off this round, we'll do the same thing. We're going to flip an evil card and see what we run into. Monster Ambush. Any player must pay 3 gold, or a major monster immediately spawns in the same room as the active hero. Well, out of my 2 heroes, Algus and Luke, we only have 2 coins. So we are going to have to deal with a monster which the evil Malaphyas, I think his name is, to spawn to ruin our day. What a joke. And he's left us with, appears to be a demon, I think. I'm going to have to double check that. Looks like it's Helen. So Helen's ability is the start of combat, spend a magic symbol or discard a treasure card. Ooh, that kind of hurts a little bit. So we have this showing up in Algus's room, and he's going to have to deal with this right off the top before he even gets a chance to use his free action, or his free move token. So we're going to just deal with this because of the card. Let's see what we get. Wow, lots of potions, some shields, some magic. So we know that a magic has to be spent, otherwise he would lose one of his treasure cards. But I also have, well, I don't want to really, see I have an Avert Evil which I could have used, but you know what, I want to keep that for a really bad evil card. And I have a Parry which allows me to block a lot of damage. But, let's see, if I'm going to take her out, I'm going to have to use some weapons. She doesn't get hurt by health, so all those I should probably reroll. She does 3 damage back at me, but I do have this card I can use. So you know what? Let's just reroll everything but the magic and see what we get. Alright, so we got some swords this time. That's not bad. We got a shield. Got some feet. And we got a thing. So what we could do actually is he's got an ability here that allows me to use a shield and a sword to get a sword and 2 shields. So let's do that. Let's take these dice, the sword and the shield, dock them in his his player mat. So now we have access to a shield and 2 swords. In order to kill her, we need 3 damage to her dice. So let's do this. This will give us our 3rd point of damage. So in other words, we have 2 swords here, and we put the extra one in here. That's enough to kill her. We use swords, so she's going to come back at us and hit us. Now, we don't really want to take that damage, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go shield up. And I'm going to... I'll just use shield up, actually. That's going to allow me to block 2 of the damage that she's going to send my way. And then I'm just going to take the other damage knowing that I have a potion to heal myself. And now that that combat's over, we're going to move Algus up on the XP track. He's going to go up 3, I believe, based on that dice. Or on that, that dice. 1, 2, 3. So it's not too bad. He actually levels up. So he's going to get himself, regardless, he gets a treasure card for killing the major monster. He got taunt, allows to knock down some defense on them. He's also going to be able to bump up one of his special abilities. So let's see, is defense a priority or is money and magic a priority? Let's go with defense for now. I don't know if that'll come back to haunt us or not. So essentially this monster has been dealt with. We throw it back into the pile. We now have these remaining actions to take if we want. And again, you know what? Money at this point is a good idea. So I'm going to use the health to like this, bring them to full health, and I'm going to cash these 2 dice in for 2 coins. So that we can get some money going for our heroes here. So we got, looks like we end up having 2 for Luke and 2 for Algus. And that's the end of the turn. So now we're going to go back over to the counter and we're going to move the counter down another spot. Then all the dice come off Algus and we can get rid of this chart. And we go back to our dungeon. All right, so let's see what happens next. So I guess we're going over to Luke. And let's see what the evil card says this time. Dark Assault. Any player must pay 4 gold or all monsters inflict +1 wounds with their payback until the end of this turn. Interesting. Okay. Well, we can't pay 4 gold, and it says any player must pay. But neither of us have 4. We have 4 together, but not in a single player. So I think we can't. I don't think we can get rid of that card. So it looks like wounds with monsters are going to do +1 on their payback to the end of the turn. So Luke's going to have to deal with some more punishment coming his way. But for now, that's not so bad. So let's go ahead. And actually, I did forget completely to use Augus's step. But you know what? Sometimes it's not a good idea to step your character into another room, even when you're trying to rush through a dungeon, because if you have burned through your dice on that turn, the downside is you can get dropped into a room with a bunch of monsters that you can't handle, you can't even defend against. So sometimes it's better not to use it. But in this case, where Luke is left alone at the beginning of his turn, there's no monsters, using a step token makes sense to progress in the dungeon. So he's going to explore, and we already know this is a rune tile from the last time, so we're going to discard the tile over here. And we're going to pull ourselves ooh, look at this. We got ourselves a cultist crazy room. So this could get interesting. Let's see. Let's just put it here like this for now. So Luke, you just went into that medium room, and for doing so, you actually level up. You go up an XP. So Luke is going to now bump himself to the next level, and that's going to give him, let's see, Fortune favors the bold is one of the options, or the money. And again, I think for now, I like the fighting. Let's go with the swords and shields aspect of things, because I want to try to stay alive as long as I can. Now in this room, I don't particularly remember how this works, except I know these cultists fall all over the place. So there's 3 of them in here. Guys are a pain in the butt, to say the least. So we got 3 of them in there. And I think what ends up happening is at a certain point, I don't know if it's when you kill all of them or a few of them, I think when there's 1 remaining, then they spawn that major monster in the middle. So you kind of, it's a little bit of a mess. I'll do a quick look here in the manual just to see, because I think this is one room that they actually had to explain in the rules because it was different than most of the tiles in the game. So I just want to make sure I don't mess this up. Where is it? It'd be actually interesting if they don't have this in the. So what I might do is, I know I might play it my own way here, and then maybe I'll let you guys chime in, let me know if I've done it wrong or right, rather than waste my time here running through the rule book. So typically I'm a stickler for kind of like checking the rules and stuff, but in the terms of time, maybe what I'll do actually is, now that we're about 15 or 16 minutes into the video, maybe I'll stop here, and this will be the first kind of gameplay video, and we'll stop and we'll kind of kickstart the next one off, knowing exactly how this room works so I don't run into any kind of problems, and we'll see where this adventure takes us. So if you like what you've seen so far, I'm sorry about the moving camera and the fact I don't have a tripod, but I hope you guys are enjoying Masmorra. It's a great game, I really love it, and I am just getting my head wrapped around the rules, and I do enjoy it myself, so hopefully you guys are enjoying, and until next time, see you in Masmorra.